Moana Exiles. Unfortunately, some bad news for Path of Exile 1 players, and honestly, Path of Exile 2 players as well. So in my last video about the impact of Path of Exile 2 and Path of Exile 1, I predicted that Path of Exile 2 would be the primary focus for grinding gear games in the near future, and that the Path of Exile 1 League that was supposed to release in February or March would be pushed back. This is PoE 3.26. That is true. Grinding Gear Games just came out with a statement today outlining exactly this. Jonathan himself sat down in the chair in the new studio and essentially said, we need to focus on 0.2.0 for Path of Exile 2. We need to focus on all the crashes, getting new content, getting an economy reset and all that. And we will not be working and have not worked on Path of Exile 1 3.26 as of yet. Now he took full blame, essentially falling on his sword for moving all of the development resources off Path of Exile 1 in the lead up to Path of Exile 2. And that is why Path of Exile 1 currently is not in a great space right now. This Settlers of Kelgur will be the longest running Path of Exile 1 league of all time, and it's not even close. Lots of people obviously are quite disappointed by this, and they did not see this coming. They thought Grinding Gear Games would be releasing a new Path of Exile 1 league in the near future, and that they would be focusing on Path of Exile 1 for many reasons. I did not think that was going to happen. I see the tremendous success with Path of Exile 2. I see it hitting new audiences, having record-setting player numbers, seeing lots of people enjoy it. Path of Exile 1 players, non-Path of Exile 1 players, people young and old. And I think Grinding Gear Games knows that they really have a great opportunity here to continue capturing that audience. And there were a lot of things wrong with Path of Exile 2 and a lot of things just missing from the Path of Exile 2 early access that they really wanted to launch in December. The Druid is not there. The Huntress is not there. We're missing Axe, the skill tree, the end game. All these things need work. And Jonathan Rogers believes that having the most senior developers at Grinding Gear Games is the play presently. So for the time being, they are going to stay on Path of Exile 2 until Path of Exile 2 0.2, that big patch, comes out. And even then, they're going to stay on for a few more weeks to solve any issues that might arise from that. And then they are putting as many resources as possible on the next Path of Exile 1 League 3.26, which he promises will be amazing. So you might have noticed that I've completely not talked about dates here. And that is because no dates were set for Path of Exile 1 or for Path of Exile 2. Currently, we don't know when these two patches are coming. We don't know the timeline. We don't know exactly what is going to be added. We are a little in the dark right now. And I believe Grinding Gear Games only released this video because they formerly said they would have an update on Path of Exile 1 in late January. I think the truth is they don't necessarily know when everything is coming out either. Jonathan essentially said they underestimated the amount of work that needed to go into Path of Exile 2 to get it running, to get it into early access, and that is his fault, and he should have prioritized better. Of course, there are many moving parts here, and it just sucks. It really does. For now, we don't know when all this stuff is going to come out. But, you know, I'm ever optimistic. I know if I go to I'll go to the Path of Exile 1 Reddit right now. It's probably not great right here. The comments, the thumbnail though, I mean, GGG was absolutely goated with the thumbnail being Azaro because of the Azaro duplicating meme. It shows that they are definitely still on the Reddit and reading it, at least the Path of Exile 1 Reddit. I'm sure they're on the Path of Exile 2 subreddit as well. But lots of people are likely having strong reactions to this, unfortunately. And it sucks. It's Azar over. It really does, because while people might be shading GGG as malicious or just incompetent, I mean, I always err, obviously this channel errs on the side of not doing that. I won't say that it isn't sucky and it isn't terrible, because of course it is. Lots of people who played Path of Exile 2 and ended up not liking it and want to go back to Path of Exile 1 and really enjoyed that game and supported grinding your games over all these years feel betrayed almost. And while you can't claim ownership of the game or say, well, GGG should work on what I would like them to work on and everything, I do get the sentiment of, hey, I helped build up Path of Exile 2. I supported grinding your game so that they could release this, and now it's a game that I don't necessarily enjoy, and all their resources are going to it, at least in the short term, and that sucks. It totally does, and I understand those people. And then there's someone like myself who really enjoys Path of Exile 2, is having a heck of a time playing it, and unfortunately, every time I say that, lots of people get upset, and that also is very unfortunate, because exactly what we wanted to not happen is happening. And I guess that's the crux of this video, in addition to just talking about the news very briefly. It's unfortunate that we all wanted our community to not be split and not be polarized and not fight each other and not eat itself over Path of Exile 1 and Path of Exile 2. And now, unfortunately, just a month and a half into Path of Exile 2's early access, that's already beginning. The cracks haven't just begun to form. There's already a fissure. There's already people saying that Path of Exile 2 is the worst game in the world. It's PoE 2 out of 10, and everything needs to go back to PoE 1, and both games are going to get killed by grinding your games, and anyone who likes PoE 2 is just a total shill and is lying. And not the case. I understand that people are probably upset that Path of Exile 1 isn't being prioritized and even being worked on right now. It definitely sucks. I know many content creators agree with many players, just many people in the community. But I say to you, don't overreact. There's no need to call grinding your games the worst developers out there. There's no need to attack Jonathan or Mark or anyone on the team. I implore you to think about what these guys are really trying to do. They are trying to do their best to launch a new next-gen ARPG and fully support it, and support their already, honestly, innovative next-gen ARPG at the same time. And they are experiencing growing pains. I think the whole debacle we saw with customer service and how they had to hire a whole bunch more people to deal with the massive influx of players is a good example of that. I'm no businessman, but I think the best thing that grinding your games can do right now, as they are likely showered in funds from us, the community, supporting PoE 2 and supporting PoE 1 over all these years, is try to expand this team and really make good on that promise. We know that they are a dang good bunch of designers. That's why we all love Path of Exile 1, and many of us love Path of Exile 2. Expand that team. Grow your resources. Show us that you can maintain both games. Sure, there might be growing pains right now, and boy, are we experiencing them. Boy, did Jonathan not want to make this video right here, but he did. And I think in these times, the easy thing to do is be pissed. The easy thing to do is to go rage and be all negative about GGG and Path of Exile 2 and Path of Exile 1 and say it's a dead game and everything. But I don't think that's helpful. So this will be one of my only videos on the subject, I hope. I hope that the community can come together and give GGG not even the benefit of the doubt, because Jonathan literally fell on his sword in the video and explained exactly what happened. I hope the community, the greater gaming space, can understand what's going on here and just continue to support these guys. That's it. That's my piece. Hope you guys agree. If you don't, let me know why in the comments below. I know a firestorm is incoming. I know it's going to be a spicy few days. Oh boy. It's a good time, and it's a scary time to be a Path of Exile player. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Stay sane.